Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. What is this, episode number 7?
Five, seven, I can't count.
Welcome to prime number episode of Pork Jatches. We are two brothers with four bad knees. I am Morgan.
I'm Jeremy.
And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are all talking about Allegheny, Nyack. We are going to the University of Pittsburgh, talking about the current state of affairs of the sports programs there. A little bit, a little bit everything about our love for Pitt, and I'm going to start off, and I think they're playing tonight as Saturday when we're recording this. Pitt soccer, man. Pitt men's soccer. All of a sudden, just like top 3 in the country.
Oh my God, they're so much fun to watch, though.
They are. They're a great, fun team. ACC is a very difficult conference to play soccer in. Some really great teams, North Carolina and Clemson, and just good to see, another sport, that will somehow, in a later date, disappoint us somehow.
Welcome to Pitt Athletics.
We will be talking a lot about that and disappointment and hype and a lot in this episode. And, just want to throw this out here as I was on Facebook yesterday and one of my memories. A shout out to Jonas Salk. I, for some reason, had a picture of my memories from a year ago, the middle of quarantining and pandemic and at home, but just want to shout out to Jonas Salk and all he's done for polio and all that jazz, and thank you, bud. It was a radio shout out. I don't know. It just felt weird.
Yeah.
I golfed today. I'm tired. So, where do you want to start off, Jerry, with Pittsburgh or University of Pittsburgh sports?
Do you want to talk about our favorites, or we can go to the current state of affairs?
Let's talk about some of our favorites. You know what I mean? The Final Fours tonight, as we're recording this, Baylor already beat Houston. Gonzaga is probably going to win tonight. But there are my favorite, I think, teams when it comes to University of Pittsburgh sports. I have to bring up like those mid-2000s, late 2010 basketball teams.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So close. A big fuck you to like Gordon Hayward and Butler and Scotty Reynolds at Villanova. But, those Levance Fields, Chevy Troutman.
The Ronald Ramon shot against West Virginia.
Yeah, those teams were so much fun.
Yeah.
And I miss and nothing against the current state of Pitt basketball, which I'm sure we'll get to here soon. But those Pitt basketball teams, and a lot of it was at the peak of the Jamie Dixon era.
It was. Yeah, it was.
The great recruiting classes coming out of New York City, the Bronx, Manhattan. All those great recruiting classes that just, man, I would have... There's one thing I want to see in life, and it's the Pitt National Championship in basketball.
Yeah.
That program has had a ties, from Jerome Lane to its lows of the Stallings era and not winning a game in the ACC, and the high hopes that Jeff Capel's bringing to the team now. I know they had some rocky things going on this season, but just as Levance Fields, Chevy Troutman, Brandon Knight, Ronald Ramon,
Gary McGee, DeJuan Blair, like the list goes on. Aaron Gray, like the list goes on and on.
I think one of my favorite Pitt sports moments, DeJuan Blair literally eating up Hashim to beat UConn.
Oh yeah,
when he threw over his shoulder like a Continental Soldier and just like almost dislocated his elbow.
That looked like Luke Skywalker carrying Yoda.
But at the same time, as much as DeJuan Blair controlled Hashim to beat, Luke Herringody at Notre Dame controlled DeJuan Blair. And that's why I think I hate Notre Dame basketball so much, is because of guys like Luke Herringody, guys at Syracuse like Jerry McNamara.
Oh my God, McNamara broke our hearts so many freaking times.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh. There's a lot of Syracuse teams that I absolutely despise just because of the average white basketball player that somehow scores 40 points every game. And it feels like Jim Boeheim has that now with Buddy Boeheim. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. They were just, those teams were just, like you said, so much fun to watch. But it was just like we had our heart broken so many times.
The worst night of my life. It was Sweet 16, I believe. We were at the Aces for a Clark's concert. It was the Pitt Butler game.
We are peak Yinzer. Like, that's as peak Yinzer as you can get.
We were at the Aces in Johnstown for a Clark's concert. I just turned 21. Brad Wanamaker misses the free throws.
Oh, God.
Gordon Hayward and Butler wins, and that was the start of one of the worst nights of my life.
I get.
I think that's where my hate for the Clarks come to.
That's true. And the one moment that I just plays in my head, and not for good reasons, is Kemba Walker
Breaking Gary McGee's ankles in the Big East tournament.
Yeah,
I miss the Big East so much. I miss Big East basketball.
it's more entertaining.
Those rivalries with UConn and Syracuse and Notre Dame and Marquette, and it's just don't get me wrong. I love Pitt basketball and I like playing the ACC, but I miss those down and dirty Big East games.
Yeah, that was where you threw it down.
Where the final score was like 32-29.
Yep. Yeah, those are your old school, throw it down to the center and let him throw some elbows to get the 2 points. But God, those were just so much fun to watch.
So great game. I mean, I hate to see what what happened to Jamie Dixon at Pitt, because there are so many good teams there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not privy to all the conversations, obviously, you know what I mean, but the recruiting stuff there in New York City, which I think dropped off Pitt basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Then Stallings come in, and we don't want to talk about that. We're just going to skip over that era.
Screw him and his kid.
And we get into the Jeff Capella era now, which is, yes, the team's, I think, on the up again. I know they had a lot of the 3 guys transfer mid-season this year due to some, I guess, team issues and conflict with other players. And I see Tony went to Arkansas, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
You know what I mean? So all the luck to him. But one day will we see Pitt basketball to where it was? I hope so. Do I think it's going to be in the foreseeable future? No. Because I think recruiting plays a big part, and I don't think
plus
the university has hit that yet in the ACC with recruiting.
Plus the recruiting now to where recruiting was when Jamie Dixon was around is two different different things.
For sure.
So I think it's looking up, but time will only tell.
Yeah, time will tell. You know what I mean? We'll be disappointed by Pitt basketball again, of course. Speaking of disappointment, ladies and gentlemen, time to move on. Pitt football.
High octane.
We'll get to Todd Graham in a minute. Obviously, you know what I mean, the Pitt football team has a storied past. 9 national championships dating back to the early 1900s. How many Pro Football Hall of Famers? How many College Football Hall of Famers? Guys that will pretty much are name and face of the NFL now. The past, Dan Marino, you know what I mean? Obviously, we're going to talk about some of these guys here, but I think one guy who went to Pitt that doesn't get the respect that he does, and I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Alex Van Pelt.
No, it's actually LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To me, Shady doesn't get the respect that he does
as a
running back.
Hell no.
In the NFL. Also, what he did at Pitt was phenomenal.
In my opinion, Shady is probably one of the best I wouldn't say the best Pitt running back, but I would say he's probably top.
Obviously, best Pitt running back of all time, Sonny Dorsett.
Yeah.
And then James Conner, and then Shady.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can agree with that, yeah. But they've also had, like, if you look, like we said, Dan Marino, LaShawn McCoy, you know, all these guys on offense, but you also got to look at
hold on. I know we talk about offense and defense, but one guy that doesn't get the respect, I just want to show this out to our father here, is we're going to throw out an offensive lineman.
His favorite Pitt offensive lineman.
Bill Fralick. Shout out to Bill Fralick.
Miss you, Bill.
A lot of, you know what I mean, the ups and downs of Pitt football over the years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Haven't had a national championship since 1979. What year did they win?
Yeah,
Awkward silence. Yep.
somewhere in that region.
Somewhere I'm brain dead right now. But
We weren't even like a gleam in our parents' eyes at that point.
well, you were kind of close. I wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
um, obviously talk about some of the guys on there. Dan Marino, quarterback. Tony Dorsett, running back. Yeah, I mean, greats of all time in college and in pro. Then you come up.
And you have Johnny Majors. If Johnny Majors is a coach for the team at the time, that guy is a Hall of Famer.
When I was young, I thought Lee Majors and Tommy Majors were the same person. I don't know why, but I thought they were.
Yeah.
Then obviously you come up through the 90s and the 2000s. Obviously the greatest moment in my life, and then probably yours, it was a birthday present for you.
Yep.
It's 13-9.
13-9.
Beating number 2 West Virginia to pretty much ruin their national championship season.
Hearing Rich Rod give his interview after the game, and you can hear the Pitt football team in the locker room screaming over him during his post-game press conference.
Who was the fullback for Western? Oh, Owen Schmidt.
It was Owen Schmidt.
Owen Schmidt. I think like last year or the year before, I was reading an interview that's on 13-9 Day. I think it was on Sports Nation or SB Nation or something like that. He literally still hates, like with a passion of 1,000 suns, hates Pitt football because of that night.
I hate West Virginia.
I don't hate West Virginia football as much as I used to.
Well, that's true. And
a lot of people, think Penn State's obviously Pitt's biggest rival, but I still believe it's West Virginia.
I absolutely believe that.
And this is my thought behind it. Growing up, people had Pitt, Penn State. I mean, Joe Pa, burn in hell. But they had that rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
See, growing up watching Pitt football, I didn't have that rivalry until a couple years ago.
True.
I mean, I had West Virginia every year in the Big East. You know what I mean? I had those games down in Morgantown, and then the games up at Heinz Field, and back down to Morgantown year after year after year. That's what I grew up on. That's the rivalry.
Yeah.
I don't think Penn State's Pitt rival anymore.
No.
I mean, we're not in the 70s anymore. Where the rivalry stands, to me, is it's something in the past. Do I want it to continue? I really couldn't care less. Do I think it's beneficial for either team? Hell no.
No.
Do I think Heather Like, the AD of Pitt, should continue it? No. I think come 2022, we get the backyard brawl back again. That thing should be played every single year until the end of days.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's what, to me, Smash Mouth Pitt football is. Yeah, I mean, it's that 72-mile trip down I-79 right down into Morgantown.
Road trip?
A road trip. Definitely.
Definite road trip.
I know you wanted to get on this for a little before, but of course you have the offensive greats. Obviously, you're going to have the defensive greats. You know what I mean? You're going to have Darrelle Revis. You're going to have those. You're going to spend a night in a Marriott hotel on Revis Island. You have the back-to-back current defensive player of the year in the NFL, and Aaron Donald.
A guy that doesn't get the respect he deserves was a great college athlete, and he's like an okay pro, but he's bounced around a bunch of teams. Jabal Sheard.
I knew was he in Buffalo?
He was in Buffalo, Indy. He's bounced around a bunch of places. He was one of like my favorites to watch at that time.
You know what? I want to go back to the offense real quick. Shout out to Stoosh on Facebook because he's the only man that will go with me. But God bless the fullbacks. Pitt has had a amazing line of fullbacks over the years. I mean, from Super Bowl winning Henry Janoski to George Aston. Sorry, I'm brain dead again, like I said. But
we can't forget about my favorite.
Who? Lusaka Polite. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about a fullback down on the 3-point stance on the goal line, and you just want him to get the damn ball.
But I think that's like, because we're so used to watching the Steelers on a Sunday. Because when I grew up, like, that was the thing.
I was going to say, hold on a second. I mean, I know I'm 6 years younger than you, but when was the last time the Steelers had a good fullback?
I can name 2 right off the top of my head.
Chris Fuamatu does
Okay.
not count.
Bullshit, he doesn't count.
Who?
Dan Kreider.
Oh shit, I forgot about Dan Crater. The pride of Rhode Island?
I think he went to Rhode Island.
Why do I know that?
I'm impressed that you do know that.
I know. But we talk about Pitt football, and we talked about some of the great. What's your most disappointing Pitt football moment?
I can think of 2.
Mine's an off the field incident.
Okay, that makes 3 for me. I could think of the Cincinnati game in the snow.
They threw it to fucking Gilliard.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
Gilliard.
And then the game that we went to when we lost to Youngstown State.
My most disappointing Pitt football moment is an off the field moment.
Actually, you were wrong. He went to New Hampshire.
Oh, New Hampshire. Dan Crater went to New Hampshire, not Rhode Island. It's the same thing.
Close.
Most disappointing Pitt football moment. It lasted all of 72 hours?
Oh, God.
And that was the hiring of Mike Haywood, who now is in North Texas, I believe.
Oh, God. Why would anyone hire that guy?
I mean, domestic abuser Mike Haywood. This is a hot take I have.
Texas Southern.
Okay. It's still Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas.
I have a hot take here about a certain era of Pitt football. I didn't hate the Todd Graham era. I hate how it ended, and I hated Todd Graham as a person.
Yeah, he's a terrible human
But I didn't hate the style of football.
No. It kind of fit, though, if you look at it. It kind of fit like what we had at the time.
Yeah. You know, we talked about... excuse me, I was yawning. We talked about offensive grades, and we actually forgot about someone.
Rod Rutherford?
Not Rod. We forgot to talk about Larry Legend. How did we forget about Larry Fitzgerald?
Okay, I'm just going to say this now. Fuck you, Jason White, and your gym teacher job, you piece of garbage. God, I hate that man, and I hate the University of Oklahoma for it.
Yep. We talk about the man who should have won the Heisman in, 2002?
Yeah.
There's no reason Jason White should have won the Heisman that year. Especially since they lost to K-State in the Big 12 title game.
Yeah. It's just, it's just because of...
A quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Yeah, I know. And until the day, my final breath would be fuck Jason White.
Yeah.
As I'm laying dying in bed and Jeremy's holding a pillow over my head to smother me. My last dying breath will be fuck Jason White.
One of the highlights of Larry's career, I think.
The catch in College Station versus Texas A&M.
Okay, that one too. But
that's my favorite catch.
I was thinking the bowl game against Oregon State, and the one in Arizona with the diving one.
Oh yeah,
that put him on the map. I think that was like, okay, this guy's gonna be really good. But I went to Pitt Johnstown, and I had tickets to all the home games. So we'd get on a charter bus, drive from Johnstown to Pittsburgh, which was an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on traffic. And we would get off the bus and we'd run from the bus down to the student section to be in the front row. Like I was knocking people over to get in the front row at Heinz Field for those games.
There's people at Heinz Field for Pitt football. We made it 18 or 19 minutes in, and we had our first joke about capacity of Pitt football games. Congratulations, everybody! The crowd goes
wild. Do I want them to have their own stadium? Yes.
No.
Why?
Show me a map of Oakland where you're putting.
I'm not saying that there's a place for one, but I think it would be kind of nice to have one.
I think Heinz Field and the size of the city of Pittsburgh and what's going on and the size of the university, I think Heinz Field is a suitable place for Pitt football. Until they get a winning culture and can win.
True. It's very true.
No. Do I think that's going to happen anytime soon? Remains to be seen. Because obviously this year, Pat Narduzzi's on the hot seat, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Their schedule is very winnable. I think they play Tennessee week 2 or 3. If they beat Tennessee, there's no way they don't start out 6-0.
Yeah, there's that. That's that schedule came out, and we were kind of like, okay, maybe this
Of
might
course, yeah. I mean,
actually.
I think they play home versus Clemson.
Yep, we're going.
Hell yeah.
We're effing going.
Hell, I already told my boss at work I plan to be drunk opening weekend versus what, New Hampshire or something like that.
UMass,
UMass.
UMass,
Why am
Tennessee.
I confusing all these like northeastern?
Here's the only thing that bothers me about the schedule. They're in Tennessee. Like that's the
Tennessee's going to be bad.
well, yeah. Like there's four. Oh Jesus, Georgia Tech. Oh good lord.
That's a win.
At Virginia Tech.
That's a win. That's a loss. Home versus Clemson.
That's a loss versus Miami.
Miami. Beating Duke. Beating North Carolina.
Beating Virginia.
Beating Virginia. Beating Syracuse.
It's a winnable schedule. Yeah,
it's a
definitely.
very winnable schedule. And Pat Narduzzi's on the hot seat, in my opinion.
Does he have the team? Absolutely. Well, with all the guys leaving, like Jamal, like Weaver, and everybody like that leaving to go pro, it hurts a little bit.
See, I think the upside with Pat Narduzzi's defense is I believe in the theory of the next guy up, and it has shown over the past few years.
That's true too. Yeah.
My big question is kind of like the Steelers. I want to see what the run game does because there's a lot of question marks with the run game.
Yeah.
I love Kenny Pickett to death. Kenny Pickett's probably top 3 favorite quarterbacks out of Pitt, in my opinion.
Well, number one's a given with you. I already know who that is.
Who?
Tyler Palko.
Of course. I fucking love this team. Yeah, I mean, my top quarterbacks from Pitt. Dan Marino's actually not in my even top 5.
Well, I can understand why.
Tyler Palko.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett. Nate Peterman. Rod Rutherford. Alex Van Pelt.
Again, I was around in Pitt when it was Rutherford and Palko battling for the number one position.
Speaking of Tyler Palko.
And every time Rutherford would fuck up and throw a pick, we'd be chanting for Palko.
Speaking of Tyler Palko, shout out to Tyler Palko's bitch, and that would be Joe Flacco.
Oh, yeah.
Just signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Fuck you, Flacco. Piece of good. I don't want to play. I don't want to be a backup. I'm going to go to Delaware. Yeah, he was a first round pick, but fuck you.
He won a national title with Delaware.
I know.
He wins this conversation.
I know. That's the problem.
Now, okay, here, next topic. What Pitt sport do you want to see other than, non-major, I want to say major, non-basketball, non-football sport do you want to see win a national championship first?
Either soccer or baseball.
You're wrong on both of those accounts.
Wrestling? Gymnastics?
Volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
Pitt is 100% a volleyball school. Actually, their baseball team's great, so they might be a baseball school now too, but the women's volleyball team at Pitt is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to them tweeting at me when they played in like Oregon the one night. They tweeted me sweet dreams. It was my Twitter banner for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to find that and put it back up. But there's just something about obviously playing in the field house.
With that building has so much history.
It had history. And I love the Pete to death, but watching a women's volleyball match inside the
Fitzgerald
Field, I was at Peters. The Fitzgerald Fieldhouse is like fantastic. Nothing can beat it.
Mm. And I was never a volleyball fan. Like I watched volleyball when I was in high school. I had a bunch of friends that played volleyball, and I always thought it was boring. And then I watched college volleyball, and I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more fun to watch.
I want to bring up one thing. You had friends in high school?
Yeah, I know, right?
Holy shit.
It's weird.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah, I know.
What are your Jeremy's currently dying. What are your feelings on? How do I say this? Do you think Heather Lyke is a good athletic director?
Yes and no. Like there are moments where I'm like, okay, this kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like, I don't think she has the firepower to pull the trigger on some things.
That I agree, but I will say this. Heather Lyke is very good at hiring people.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Capel, obviously. I mean, results would be ready to see, but the dude is top tier college basketball coach in my opinion. Pat Narduzzi. People don't like him. I, I have mixed feeling on Narduzzi, but it's very hit and miss.
Yeah.
I do like him. I like him as coach. Their hires, their coordinators have been great. Yeah, man. A lot of the guys have gone on to bigger and better things. Obviously,
Shout out Matt Canada. I've
I'm not
never.
going to bring that up because I have very angry feelings about Matt Cannon and Ben Roethlisberger right now that I don't
Well-
want to rant for half an hour on a podcast that doesn't belong on this podcast.
I have never been a fan. Like, I'll just say this right now, and I probably will piss you off when I say this, but I don't like Mark Whipple. I am not a fan.
I don't like Mark Whipple either.
He's like that angry dad at sporting events, like that yells at his kid because he did something wrong.
You mean like every Portage high school dad
Yeah, pretty much.
watching
Yeah.
Mustang football as they lose for the 29th straight year in the District 6 playoffs to
Bishop Guilfoyle.
either Bishop Guilford or Westmont.
Yeah. But, like,
Or McCourt, I mean.
Whipple's, he comes out with a very smart game plan. Like, I'll give him that, but, like,
I don't think it's game plan. I don't like the play calling.
you know,
No. The Mark Whipple has only had one good play call.
the Pittsburgh special.
It was the Philly special versus UCF.
I wasn't even home for that game.
I was.
I was at a wedding. I had to watch it on my phone.
Where do you see Pitt sports? Give me one hot take where you see Pitt sports in the next 10 years.
I see in 10 years, I see the basketball team contending again. And I'm talking contending. I'm talking back to where we were in the Big East. We're going to be a powerhouse in the ACC in the years to come.
Okay.
The football team, I don't know. Like, if Narduzzi stays, that's fine. Things got to change with him in-house, with the coordinators, with the game plan, everything. I see volleyball being a national champion. I see soccer contending for years to come. Baseball's on the up. Like, we're like a good athletic university. I just don't think we get the looks that the other quote-unquote major schools do. Even though Pitt is considered a major university.
Yeah.
We're not getting the looks like the Dukes, the North Carolinas,
I wouldn't even say them anymore because honestly, Duke basketball's fallen off. You know what I mean?
Roy Williams just retired.
Roy Williams just retired. You know what I mean? But I did see a tweet yesterday that the Loyola coach is at top of North Carolina's list, which would be very bad for ACC teams because that would be a phenomenal hire. But my hot take for the next 10 years, Pitt sports. In the next 10 years, Pitt wins 3 national titles. Okay? All in volleyball.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
That's it. I think Pitt volleyball is the top tier sport right now for the university.
Shout out to Pitt wrestling while we're at
Pitt
it.
wrestling is great too.
Pitt wrestling.
I mean, they've had how many? 3 All-Americans this year?
I believe 3 All-Americans. Yeah.
But when it comes to wrestling, it's very hard to, in my opinion, to win a national title because you have those Penn States, you have those Iowas.
Yeah, you have those powerhouses.
You have those powerhouses who have continuously won national titles and multiple All-Americans every single year for, oh God, I remember when I wrestled in high school and kids went to Penn State wrestling camps, it's like years upon years upon years of national champions and All-Americans. And
if we could bring a Pitt volleyball championship to the university, oh man, that'd be amazing.
That would be fantastic. I would love that.
That'd be great.
But anything else you want to touch on today, Jeremy?
I hate Mike Haywood. I hate Todd Graham. I miss Dave Wonstatch.
We didn't talk about Wani. I think Wani got the shaft. I also think Walt Harris got the shaft.
I think
too.
Walt Harris got the shaft for sure.
I love both those coaches for Pitt football. Um, I think we didn't talk about enough right now, but fuck you, Scotty Reynolds.
Kiss my ass. I still hate Villanova for that.
I will always hate Villanova for that. But other than that, I think we're gonna peace out for the evening. I just want to thank everybody for another listen. I am Morgan.
I'm Jeremy.
We are Porchesters. We're two brothers with four bad knees.
Hail to Pitt.
Hail to Pitt.